patches before the durability changes, I had somewhat good champion pool. I had selected some champs to play. I played a lot of Syndra, but right now I feel like she's really bad, and
Yeah, Syndra is
you have
very shit. Yeah,
and you have to play really, really well
yeah,
with her to
yeah.
get some lead. Um, so I kind of gave up. When I saw the durability update, I knew that Victor is gonna be really strong, so I started playing him.
Mm-hmm.
But despite Victor and like maybe Yone, the other champions right now that I would like to play, I have to practice a lot. I think like
Mm-hmm.
I like Ari currently, but I feel like my Ari is not on the level to play it like in the Grandmaster Challenger lobbies. I kind of don't charm, and it's not really useful pick because I roam all the time.
I mean, the thing with Ari is that she can never solo carry games. She just can't. She's
Yeah,
always gonna be safe. She's always gonna be able to have pick potential, and that's usually. But she can never solo carry games because she doesn't. She doesn't like. She just doesn't have the damage.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But super safe pick, and she can hide like a lot of lane flaws. Good when it comes to wave clear. She's extremely, extremely safe, if not the safest mid laner in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe at least top three, and she can hide so many lane mistakes or so many lane flaws, and she will always be able to ult in and get picks and also be safe. So that's why
Yeah.
she feels good to play. Yeah.
Well, like I've noticed now that I play in like higher elos, a lot of like usually when I improve when I play against someone really good and like he stomps me and I see more clearly what I do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in general I have to build a way to improve on my own because like sometimes I watch my games, and I see okay maybe here I shouldn't like did this with my wave or do that or something like this, but that's pretty much it. I feel like I'm not getting that much value out of my own like replays, like watching my own replays.
Yeah.
And that's why I actually come to coaching with you because I feel like in general like your game knowledge is really good, and I would like to see your opinion on how things should be done.
Obviously, I pride myself on my game knowledge, but you don't have to get stumped to know how to improve. That's not needed.
Yeah, yeah,
If you understand what is like, if you can differentiate right from wrong, you're in a
yeah.
good spot. Because even if you are winning a matchup, you can very clearly tell if the person you're playing against is playing bad. That's what I want you to be able to do.
Mm.
You might
Yeah.
not be able to do this now, but it's something that can be learned by every player. You don't have to have, as long as you have just like in general pretty decent IQ, you can learn this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. First of all, you should never care about LP. That will naturally come.
Mm.
You should care about the improvement mindset, but Yone does teach you some good stuff. But I agree, and I play Yone myself because of this as well. But he is very, how do you say it? Like he does cheat,
Yeah, yeah.
like his passive, his shield, like Darren Shield and Second Wind in hard matchups. But he does teach you some good stuff about how to be defensive, how to wait for your moment, how to be
Yeah.
patient, which is
Mm.
good because a lot of champions has to play like this. Not a lot of champions can play really, really aggressively and solo kill, nor should you like ever try to like hardcore play for solo kill. Solo kill, obviously.
Mm.
Certain matchups you can, certain matchups you should.
That's a
But
problem I have actually.
yeah, like you have to understand the bigger picture because
Yeah.
very often in competitive, not always, but very often, it takes a lot of time to set up a solo kill. It takes a lot of patience. It's not something that just happens, most of the time at least.
Yeah.
So that time you could spend on focusing on how we want to play the map. For example, if you go for a solo kill, like I don't know, 45 seconds before Drake spawn, you burn your ult, you burn your flash. Maybe you don't burn enemy ult and you just one shot. Well, then he has ult and he has flash as well, and then we're lacking
I
that
will
for
lose
fight.
Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, we could. So it's more about like seeing the bigger picture. The thing Syndra does well, right, is that she teaches you a lot about how to punish waves, how to have the right intentions, and how to just in general like play lane well. She
Mm.
teaches you a lot about that. But she's in a spot right now where if you don't play it like at 90% plus, you will lose because champion
Yeah.
is just bad and doesn't have damage in
Yeah.
her kit. So until she gets like an actual buff, she is not worth the effort. But she does teach you a lot about how to have the right intentions, how to punish.
Mm.
But she also teaches you how to tunnel vision, because you can very, very easily focus on this one thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then you forget about like the rest of the game. You forget about support roam timers, you forget about jungle timers, you forget about how to play League, and you focus on only punishing. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. I do the same when I play Syndra. She's so it's like a mini game when you play her in terms of like how hard can you actually punish. But when you play her for competitive play, you're not playing her to punish hard the enemy. You're still playing to win lane, of course, but not to the extent where enemy just like where you put yourself in danger all the time. You're playing her because you want priority in mid lane. She is good to like front to back. She has no matchups in mid lane where she can't get prio early, except Lucian maybe. But she has no matchups where she can't get prio early, and then you can potentially like make a play on sides, you know. But you are not picking her in competitive play to solo kill the enemy. I don't know if you ever. I mean, I'm assuming you watched competitive and even played it yourself.
I mean, I'm playing right now in the Czech era, like Hitman Masters.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you know that very often when you see Syndra, she doesn't solo kill the enemy mid laner.
Mm.
Very, very often. Sometimes she
Yep.
does, but very often she does not, because it is not her job. It is not why she is picked. And if
Yep.
enemy makes mistakes in lane and plays like a fucking animal, of course you can solo kill. You should as a good player be able to understand, you know, what like again differentiate right from wrong and how enemy is playing. But that shouldn't be your main objective going into the game, like solo killing the enemy, because that's not why she's picked. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a very flawed way of thinking, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
something that I will like obviously touch on if I see it, but it's a very flawed way of thinking where you think you have to win your lane really, really hard to win the game.
Yeah.
Because if Syndra is 2-0, or let's just say 1-0, she has push, she is scary.
Yeah.
Like you are always scary when you fuck, because you can move to side, they can't play. The enemy mid laner can't walk to side, because if you don't commit and you just sit in the bush, enemy's dead.
Yep.
So if you pick her for the right reasons, she is playable, but not in mid lane right now. Like she's just in a horrible spot right now.
Yeah, I've realized that.
But yeah, control matches again, right? Very often you can feel like you need to punish the enemy because you can. But very often if you like overdo it, it can lead to mana issues, it can lead to you being too low and having to reset on bad waves and having to give CS. And when you think about it, right? This champion, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, also this champion. But they all benefit a lot from having high CS.
Yep.
They all benefit from being on curve and being ahead of curve. So that should always be like your main objective. Either that or winning the entire map and giving CS in mid, because that can also be an objective, right? Because
Yeah.
if you give a wave mid to deny a wave from bot and potentially kill them if they don't respect and put pressure out, that can ultimately be better. So it's a trade-off where you give mid to gain something on the map.
Yeah.
And if you set up waves correctly and you understand how to play, you can also push in a manner where you won't lose like a lot. Maybe you will lose a wave, but you will gain a lot on the other side. Or maybe you will lose like 3-4 minions while you even committed to like a hard roam because you pushed correctly, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, this was obviously a lot of talk about just like general things, but it's obviously still important, else I wouldn't do it. Just quickly to talk about some items and runes on certain champs.
Yep.
I don't know if you've like you know what it is that you actually are doing when you pick your runes and just in items in general, or do you feel like
Well, I mean, there are some champions that I know why I'm taking certain runes, and there are champions that I don't like, that I don't think much of, and just take whatever is used in general.
Okay. Because obviously you should know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. If you go Sonyas, right, on a champ like Victor, there has to be like a legitimate reason for it. It's just in general, like Sonyas on Victor, Ari, Syndra, all control matches. Asir as well. Asir is a big one.
Yep.
These champions, they don't need Sonyas in basically every single matchup. Not every single matchup, but every single game.
Yeah.
Because you'd give so much damage. You've seen it often, right? Where Asir players go like Sonya's second,
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
feels
because of
safe.
the engage, no?
Yeah, I mean that, and most of the time when you pick a seer, you are not the one to engage. You know,
Yeah, usually, yeah.
you shouldn't engage. You should be the one. I mean, mainly when you have a seer, right? You have some sort of front line. This is you, and then you can always just push the front line forward. At
Yeah,
very, very, very limited situations, you are the one that has to go in and insect enemy, right?
yeah.
That you would only do if it's just like perfect situation and you can't lose anything for doing it.
Mm.
Because you push the enemy back unless you get like really, really hard outranged um, by enemy, which you basically do here, right? All of them outrange you, so this is not a good DC game.
Yeah,
Um, you should never look for the insect. You should push your front line forward, and while you push them forward, you obviously move with them, and then you have also disengage. Very, very, very few situations you have to be the one engaging and you have to be the one looking for insect. So what are we building Sonyas for? You are losing so much damage, it's insane.
yeah.
It is absolutely absurd. Um, of course, Conqueror, if you're playing versus like heavy melee team and you can just keep it stacked, in my
Mm.
opinion. And if you're playing versus like squishy team and you have a matchup where you can just hard bully, you can go Airy. I think it's better than Comet. You can go Comet into like range matchups where you can't abuse it.
Yeah.
Um, but majority of the time it's Airy or Conqueror.
It's
EMO.
it's been kind of weird for me because I've played against some of yours and I've also watched on like pro builds and stuff like this to see what they usually go with, and everyone goes with different things.
Yeah.
And I played one game against like Comet, Scorch, Cheap Shot, Azure,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that it's really good because the damage you put in with like all those things combined, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But usually like I know that Comet is good in like long range champs that you cannot proc Airy on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried it one game against Yon to see how it will feel, and I mean it doesn't feel that bad, but I guess Airy is better.
Yeah, I mean, if you play versus like really one-shottable team, you can also go electrocute, just like one-shot them, right?
Yeah,
But it just depends on the matchup. He's very flexible. You just have to understand why you're doing it, because if you don't understand why you're doing it and you just look pro builds, you will not like form an opinion. You
yeah,
will just follow the natural thing. So, in my opinion, Conqueror, if you like Conqueror is the best if you can keep it up guaranteed, and you know that enemy wants to come into your face. That would be like the best situation, right, for Seal. If enemy
yeah,
wants to move into your face and you can basically just annihilate them. Airy into matchups that you can like hard poke. You can just consistently auto them and put them in the dirt. Comet into range matchups, and Electro if it's like enemies just full one shot, we can just
yeah.
hunt them down.
I feel like it's good against Arion mid, like the Electro. I think it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean not only her, right? Because
Yeah,
if
yeah,
if it's Ari and then the rest of the team is like hard tankiness, like have like a lot of tankiness, you would still just say, okay, fair enough, I will give this rune to get Conqueror. But if the rest of the team is squishy, then just take Electro.
Hmm.
I
All
think
right.
all the runes have situations. You just have to think. This is the fun thing about this year, right? You have to think. Um, is it?
On your own, like right now, there are games where like enemy team has a lot of damage, but I still go Bork because I feel like it's so strong.
Mhm.
Even though I think maybe should bow would be better because like I don't get popped, but sometimes I just feel like if I get some lead early on, Bork is so good like early spike, and I just go with it.
Yeah, Borg spike is the best spike. If you can get away with it, it's the best. But if you play versus like heavy damage, shield bow is the best because
Mm,
yeah, then Borg will not do anything because you're just dead, right?
yeah,
Um, I would always go Borg if I can do it first, but as I said, like they're games so you just get popped, and you should respect that.
yeah,
Free lane conditioning, overgrowth, free lane, but CC conditioning, unflinching. I
Yep.
don't really want bone plating in every like any matchup ever. I think it's really bait. Um,
Yep.
and of course hard lane second wind. I don't think revitalize is that good. Majority of games. I think it's
Mm.
very overvalued on Yone. Like I would much
Do you
rather
think
have
overgrowth is better?
yeah, I would much rather have overgrowth in games where they don't have CC and if they have CC unflinching because I don't want to take tenacity. Alacrity
Mm.
is too good.
All right.
Um, and then I mean less than majority of games. I think Coop is also pretty bait rune. Like
Mm.
deal 8% more damage to champions who are less than 40%. And of course with less than it's 5 to 11 depending on how low you are. And
Yeah.
if you're
In
below
most cases, you
yeah,
out damage it.
if you're below 60%, it's not like you are below 40%. 60% you gain 5%. So that's 3% less. And then the lower you get, the more percentage you get.
Mm.
And of course, with this like super tanky team, you can still take cut down even if you take overgrowth,
Mm-hmm.
because it's 5 to 15.
Yeah.
So that is not bad at all. It just depends on what you're playing against.
My idea of going Coup de Grace is because like of the execute E damage when
Yeah,
you wanna go for execute, I thought it might be more useful.
yeah, I can see what you mean, but Coop is generally just really bad rune.
Mm.
Like 40% less, 8% more damage. Like it is not as much as you might think it might be.
Mm.
And these two are generally speaking just way better.
All right.
It's like the Ravenous Hunter of precision tree, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, very bait rune. Uh, yeah, I mean, else it looks fine, of course. I think there's always stuff that you can do to improve on items and runes, but that doesn't like necessarily super matter to me. What matters more is just you understand how to think.
Yeah.
Because then you can apply this logic and you can think for yourself when it comes to items instead of me just going over every single rune and item built on every single champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any control mage that I can play right now that is good? Because I feel like Vex is fine for solo queue, but I don't really think it's good in competitive,
No,
so I'm
Vex
not
is really
playing it.
bad. I think Victor is fine. Obviously, if you first pick Victor, you can easily find yourself in a situation where you just can't play the game.
Mm.
You just happen to be playing competitive in a spot where people are relatively clueless. Where the fuck is it? There is. Like, let's say you first pick Victor. It's something that has been done before, right? Very often in competitive play. Instead of giving you like an avenue to play, you obviously can lock champions that just outrange him so he can't like play the game, you know?
Yep.
Like for example with Seraph, even versus like Seraph, you can get prio, but it's very hard to like play later on if you haven't done anything in the game. And
Yeah.
mainly when you want to play Victor, it's not like you're looking to move on the map. You're mainly looking to get the CS, get prio, and then of course when enemy is going, and then yeah, if he face checks you, then you can smash him.
Mm.
But if we have to play against like champions that just hard outrange you, I don't know, like this I guess is fine. I think this is like maybe a bit more normal. It can be Cho, it can be Seth, it can be Swain, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if they actually draft around the fact that they're playing against Victor, it obviously can be hard, but you're always able to push, you're always able to apply pressure, so the game is never lost if you first pick Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? It's never
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hard lost. You can always do something. You can always apply pressure in mid or just in general be on curve, and then of course your laser's still gonna hurt even if you get outranged.
Yep.
And the game is not as simple as if you get outranged, you just can't play the game. You still have avenues to flank, you still have avenues to, you know, gain vision control, and then you can play around that. So the game is not as simple as just that. But Victor's really good. I think he's really good. I think he's strong. I think, I don't know if you can play Cashew, but obviously as a counter pick, Cashew's insane.
I've been trying it out, but
What
I
else do you
need
play?
more games on it. Well, right now, I mostly play Ari. Sometimes when it's a really good Lissandra game, I would pick Lissandra, but that's very rare.
Yeah, I
And
mean, yeah, super super rare pick.
yeah, Victor, Yon, I've been playing a bit more.
Like, mainly
I
control
tried.
matches.
Okay, from the control mages right now, Victor, Oriana.
I think Ori is
I,
pretty bad, like really really
hmm,
bad. I think it's like same boat as Syndra.
well, I've given up on Syndra completely.
Yeah, I think Zoe is
And
fine as well for competitive and for solo queue.
mm,
Same
I mean,
way
I've
that.
tried it, but it has a really big curve. Like, you have to play it really well.
Of
Um,
course, of course. I mean, every champion like this, you have to play well.
yeah,
If not mechanically, you have to play it really well in terms of using your brain.
yeah,
Every champ like this, so that's just like a given. Uh, but yeah, control mages aren't in the best spots. You can play Seraph as well if you play versus squishier members. You can play Velkas if you play versus tankier members. So,
mm,
because he benefits a lot more from Leandris than Seraph does. He
yeah,
benefits from Ludens and one-shotting enemy. And I think both are good right now if the situation is there. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna maybe just start playing more Azure right now because I cannot play
Yeah.
Zerad. I've tried multiple times to pick him up. I just cannot hit shit on that champion. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I've
that's fine.
accepted my fate that the champion is not for me.
Yeah, that's fine. You can learn him. Like, unironically, you just have to understand how you need to play in lane. You understand
Mm,
you understand that, and of course, then you just have to hit spells. Like, I am playing the champion to great success. Uh,
yeah.
I was playing mid lane to like 400 or something LP, and he was one of my like main picks. But I'm not good Seraph. I'm just smart on lane.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I am not that mechanical at all. I'm just using brain and lane. And if you have
yeah,
mechanics as well, beautiful. Okay, let's go into the what.
yeah.
But
I don't want to waste your time too much.
no, no, you're not
Yeah,
wasting my time. You're not wasting my time. Like, it's good to talk about this stuff because it's super important that you have the right intentions. Not even like just picking champs, but just in general.
yeah,
So I don't mind taking 20 minutes 25 minutes to talk about it because it's so fucking important. If it wasn't, I would tell you to shut the fuck up
yeah.
and go what.
All right,
Uh,
all right.
all right. What are you thinking about this game? How do you think we want to play waves?
Um,
What can we do? I am not the greatest RE expert, so some of the things I am saying is questions as
uh,
well to how you are thinking.
well,
Um, but mainly, you obviously always want to open the game with a game plan.
yeah.
Like, how do we want to operate this game? How do we want to ward? Like, what are we looking for?
Mm. Well, I've
So,
been trying to like start like thinking more in the loading screen on what to do. Like we do
hmm
that every time on scrims, but like on solo queue, I just sometimes listen to music and go straight to the game.
yeah.
Uh, but right now, like especially since I wanted to get this session with
Oh, I
you,
was
I've
actually I
go
was actually watching this game. Wait, this is the Kalista is
yeah, Inox.
yeah. I was watching that like 2 minutes
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, go on.
So pretty much their 2v2 I feel like is stronger because Anivia early game damage is really like crazy.
Yeah, and you don't do
Um,
any damage.
yeah, so my idea was to maybe use my strength, like the W level one, to maybe get some poke on her and try to push my wave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the perfect scenario would be to try to crush second wave, because on third I can get ganked and it can get really bad. Or
Yeah.
I can just crush third wave, but I have to like ward on the side where Viego is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I thought that if we play the 2v2 really well, if we both manage to land everything and not on Anivia because she has Ek, it's doable, but in general, I didn't want to fight much on this line.
Yeah. After 6, this can be very hard for Nivea to play. In terms of we can easily just go
Yeah,
for a jam on her.
ulti. Yeah, yeah.
But you're not looking to play lane here, nor should you. There's no reason to play lane here. Why is there no reason to like play lane here?
Well, first thing, because she's really hard to kill
Yeah,
because of the egg.
Anivia is
Yeah,
hard, Velkas is hard,
yeah.
stuff like this. Yeah.
And I feel like When she reaches level 6, if I don't really get some jungle presence on my lane, it's really hard to play this matchup because she
Hmm.
just ults the wave and then, you
Yeah.
have to get the wave after you're always like late on tempo.
Hmm. There's never
Oh,
a point in looking for mid, right? She has to
yeah,
fuck up really badly, and the main reason why you're not looking to play mid is because we have Yumi, we have
yeah.
Lucian,
Mm,
explosive lane, and if Yumi gets through the lane, she's very strong, and if Lucian gets ahead, he's super strong. We also have Vali, who wants to make something happen early if he can, and then we obviously have Lee versus Callistus, so there needs to be attention in basically all lanes
yeah.
except mid. So
I
this is
was
a perfect
the
example for
most,
what we talked about. You remember
yeah.
what we talked about? This is a
Which
perfect
thing?
example. Like you talked about, like you're mainly looking to play lane and mainly looking to fight
Yeah, yeah,
and get
yeah, yeah.
advantage through lane. But this is a like perfect example of a game where you never ever give a shit about lane, because if you think about it, if you move and fuck, right, you can see my. Am I sharing screen to you, by the way?
No, I'm watching the stream.
Okay, I'm sharing screen now.
All right.
I forget that every single time I stream. Anyways, um, if you move to the side, right, just either side,
Yeah.
can Anivia follow?
No, because
No,
I can kill her if she
she
walks
can't.
into the bar. Yeah,
Because if she doesn't have full vision around her, she has to have full vision around her.
yeah.
Full vision to make sure that she does not enter a trap. Same goes for Vega. He can't
Mm,
he can't just walk in. Like, he has to
yeah,
play really, really safe when he moves. So you always will have numbers. You will always be able to create numbers in top. You will always be able to create numbers in bot. So why wouldn't we do that instead of trying to punish lane, which will be super fucking hard, like
my
super
idea
hard.
for this game was to play more around bot, and if I get a good opportunity for top, then I can move top. But main goal was to play bot because they're both immobile on bot. It's really easy, I think, to get kills. But
Yeah, they're both immobile. I mean, that's fine. That's a good game plan, but it's not the right plan. In my opinion, you should always play with volley. Where volley is, we go.
mm,
Because that way we are guaranteed to create numbers. Because let's say you play bot lane, right? You go bot lane, but volley is clearing to top and wants to make a play on top. Then
yeah,
we're doing two things at once. We're making a play on bot, and we're also making a play on top. So we're splitting up, our resources.
yeah,
And then you also like you give Viego like an avenue to counter bot, and then instead of it being a 3v like a 4v3, we're creating a 3v3. So we are
yeah,
actually like we have an actual chance of losing. But this game we can always move before Anivia. That will never be an issue. So why wouldn't we always make sure we have numbers?
yeah.
3v2,
How do you
4v2, or
feel?
4v3.
How do you feel about after level 6 when she gets ult and starts ulting every wave?
It doesn't matter. She still can't move. As long as you go sweeper early here.
All
After
right.
first base, you go sweeper.
Okay, I didn't do that.
Because when you base, right, when you have 6, you can never die.
Mm,
Before 6, you can die. So you need early ward. But after 6, you want to move, you want to create like fog of war, right? As much fog of war as you can around mid so that Anivia can't walk. But if she knows that you walk through, right, and she sees you walk through, she can walk and she can follow.
yeah.
But if she doesn't, she can't. She's flipping it.
Mm,
So we don't care about what ever. We are the ones that wants to be aggressive. We are the ones that have the advantage. So we want sweeper after first base.
yeah.
And you will base at around like level 4, level 5 maybe, depending on what happens. You should try to base at level 5 at least. And then on 6, we push and we create space around sides with the push in mid.
Yeah.
Because mid lane doesn't matter. It's too hard to punish. It doesn't matter. And the rest of the lanes are so easy to punish. Like
Mm,
both from dives and also from just the general fact that you have 4 flashes, right?
yeah. Man, this laning phase I played really poorly, I think.
Yeah, and you might be playing poorly because you are trying to punish. We don't care about punishing Anivia. We can't kill her first of all, solo, and we can only really kill if like Vali goes for a cheese gank on mid when he shouldn't. He shouldn't care
Yeah.
about mid because
Mm,
Anivia will be useless. She can't make anything happen around, or not around, but she can't make anything happen through mid lane.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm assuming you're trying to like cover, right?
Yeah, because Lucian was
Yeah, Lucian was AFK. Yeah,
reconnecting. Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think there's no issues with that. Obviously, when he's reconnecting, we should not try to make a play like this. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to get information on Diego, which I think is also fine, but we should not queue in and try to fight. So
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with you. It's just a bit ape shit. Okay. But yeah, you shouldn't aim to like punish him. You should aim to get your reset. So what reset are we playing for?
I mean, preferably Lost Chapter, but it's too big of a reset, so most likely two tomes and Control Word maybe.
No, you're not. I mean, you can buy control word, but what are you gonna use it for if you buy it? You,
I
if
mean,
you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm gonna say something
yeah,
like,
I saw the video. Well, usually when I buy Control Words, especially in roaming chumps, I just put it on the long bush, so I know that if I walk through it, she won't have vision.
yeah. So
While
control word
doing it.
is not bad here because you know you want to move, or you should know that you want to move. You might not do it, but you you know that we can, right? So if you buy control words, we should place it around where Vali is the first time around. So if he's going to clear from top to bot, you should place your controller here to deny
All
vision.
right. Mhm. I've
Because,
usually stopped completely putting my controller there because I always know that if you wanna put the controller somewhere, you have to put like a normal word somewhere in front so you can get ready to protect the control word or
hmm
something.
I mean, we don't really need to protect the control word because we always have mid pressure, right?
Mm,
So we on default we can defend it, but we are placing it here because we know Vali is here. So if they go for the pink ward, it will always create
yeah.
some sort of like distress for the enemy.
Mm,
Um, and the reason also why you should go one pink ward is because we want to swap to sweeper. You don't do
yeah.
that, but we should. And then
Yeah.
having this one controller, you can also place it here. Like the safest way to place it is here. You know, if you place it here, you can always just walk through because they have no vision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can go really aggressive here, so you can place it here. But this one is fine as well. Both are good. Just
Usually,
depends.
usually I put that control word when we are like having no prio and I wanna protect my jungler's jungle
Yeah,
camps.
yeah. That's also mainly why you would place it. But here, if you place it here, we can secure, like we can have it, like it will never get taken, you know, and you
Yeah.
never have to replace it, and you can always just walk through like this. And because you have 4 flashes, you can potentially even ult over the wall, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and then walk and then ult again. You only need one ult to gank. You
Yep.
don't need 3 ults. Or you can also just start ulting when you go here, and they might have vision. But obviously, we should sweep this bush every time so that we
Mm,
can walk through
yep.
or have a ping ward. Because if we have ping ward here and we have ping ward here, we have safe passage towards bot lane all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
Anivia always has to be in danger or has to be careful. But yeah, you shouldn't look to hard punish mid because we don't care about mid. We care about getting our resets.
Well, the first level I'm gonna try to play more aggro because with the
Yeah,
W I thought I'm
that's
way
fine.
stronger,
I
but I
think
think I fucked it up hard.
you can fight level 1. It's not like we want to AFK because we still
Mm,
want to get push.
yep.
We want base on wave 6 or wave 5. So if you push 2, right? Then wave come back. That's fine. You can farm it easily. You don't have to be like afraid as long as you ward here on ramp and you just play bot side. And then on 4 she will probably push in. That's fine. And then on 6 we push back and then we base. Then you should
Yep.
base on level like 4, 4.5. Maybe 5, I'm actually not sure right now. And then you have perfect base because then obviously she will push again. Wave 8 here. And then wave 10 we look for, that's when we start accelerating the game, you know?
Yep.
So like just thinking 10 waves ahead, it's not that hard, you know? It's actually not that hard.
Yeah. Just think like 5 minutes yet, no problem.
I mean, it does is like. Do you think this is hard? Like you try to get push
Uh,
on 2. Now, you have to be honest now, okay?
Yeah.
You try to get push on 1, then you slow push and you crash 2. You let her get push on 3, and obviously you don't have to be like afraid. You let her crash 4, then you start slow pushing 5, crash 6, reset, and then on 7, 8,
Yeah.
She pushes and
I,
crashes.
I completely like understand like me pushing in, Chris or push she pushes towards me. It's just that I don't think that much in advance. I otherwise I understand everything like in terms of like so pushing to me, then I can so push to her and stuff like this. I
Hmm.
understand what you mean, but I just don't in game I don't think that far ahead.
Yeah, and this is
That's
something you have to do. Not you always have to think about the game as a competitive game. And of
mm,
course, if something happens, let's say Viego comes and sits mid like a little rat, level 5 6, he sits mid for so long. Then of course we might have to create a different plan. We might have to adapt. But
yeah,
the plan is still the same, and the plan doesn't change because he's sitting mid lane. It just means we might have to give up something, and we might have to delay it 2 waves.
yeah,
But we need to create this pressure. If we don't do that, we're doing nothing. Because then Anivia is just a better champion than you.
yeah, yeah.
If you don't
Even
do
like
anything, yeah.
on the side that you had for the session, I was there was something like a goal for the session or something.
That doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah,
random.
but I put
But
there
what did you
like
put?
put like being able to see more kind of in the future on of what happens to the game
Oh,
because
yeah,
that's
okay.
something that I don't do much.
Okay. I never read it, but yeah.
Okay, well, I took my time to write it for nothing.
No, no, it's fine. I can read it after.
I
But
haven't put
it's
it there.
it's useless. It's just something that's there.
Mm,
I
yeah.
don't even think I put it there.
Here I mechanically misplayed this really hard. I should have walked one step left to the left and then get my other out of a electric kit and that I would be fine.
Yeah. I mean, you can always. I think this is good. I just wasn't like playing. You walk up on her auto attack. I think you are a little bit too late. You're
Yeah,
playing like a little bit too far back. Why are we here? Can
I
walk a
should have
little bit
been.
further up because we want push on one. But if you don't
Mm,
act like you want push on one, he's just gonna de-push. If we are afraid of him, even though he does barely nothing, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Like we are actually just giving him push.
yeah. I've noticed that I'm sometimes late on the last hit. I'm looking to like hit them on the last hit, but sometimes I'm really late on it.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, this trade is not horrible. It's not bad at all. But the fact that you don't start walking back when he's done trading, like look at this. We trade, we trade, we trade. Electro for electro. That's not bad. But now you don't have time for this.
Mm,
We just step back and back all the time when we should be controlling the push. We still have more push than her. That's not an issue.
hmm.
But we walk back and then you miss like 2 autos here on wave.
Yeah,
Walk back, continue walking back, continue walking back. So
I
many
don't know.
autos.
I'm
It's because
lagging.
no, it's a common thing you have in your brain where you are like, okay, I'm taking damage. I need to be careful now. You know,
Yeah.
it's a common thing in your brain, and it's a common thing that like everyone has in that doesn't think like more in depth about the game. When you don't have like this thing in your mind where you think about it already, you take damage, and now you think you have to be like afraid. But
Mm,
she doesn't have more in her kit. She has a 40 damage basic attack.
yeah.
And he isn't walking back. He's walking back a little bit, but then he stays up. You don't even have to de-aggro the
I
minions.
think I was running out of the aggro here because sometimes I've noticed that I go
I
for a
mean,
trait and then the minions fucking kill me because of the aggro.
you are running away. That's fine to de-aggro, right? But you're not running away. You're running to none. So you
Like,
lose a lot of autos.
yeah.
Because it's fine to de-aggro. You should obviously not take a lot of damage. But yeah, now he gains level 2 first because we were not playing how we wanted. Level 1.
Yeah.
Like you lose a lot of autos. Do you see it? Just in general, like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of autos on the wave.
I think I'm respecting his Q a bit too much.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter, right? Worst case scenario, like you take a bit of damage and you have to pop potion, but we need to push 2. Like we want push on 2 so we can get 2 first.
Mm,
And if you constantly look for him, or not constantly look for him, but constantly respect him when he has nothing in his kit, like we're going to lose level 2 first. And then we don't have this like option to push 2.
Even the
Then
thing,
yeah, then the situation changes in terms of like now he is the one that pushes 2 and you are the one crashing 4, and then it can continues like that. Make sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what did you
Uh,
want to say?
the thing is like I feel like I was not confident enough that if he goes for the Q, I'm gonna dodge it. So, and even though I have W, I have movement speed, I think I could have just played more aggro and like try to dodge it.
You don't even have to dodge it. That's the funny thing. You don't even have to dodge it. Like, as long as it doesn't hit like all the minions with the Q, you still gain push,
Mm,
and he doesn't do damage.
I
Like,
see.
this is his full combo, right? It's basically same HP lost, but because of how you played early lane and because of how you opened lane, he's still gonna get two first.
Yep,
Like, your goal is not to kill him level 1, your goal is to get two first, so you have to trade like that.
I see.
And because he's 2 now, he can just walk up and say, fuck you, you're not getting XP.
Yeah. I had a similar issue recently. I played Acer into Ari, and level 1, instead of getting the prior first, and so I can punish level 2, I started like hitting Ari instead,
Mm-hmm.
and she gets prior, and then I lose lane.
Yeah,
The level 2 thing, like getting the prior first level 2, get level 2 first, so you can actually play the lane is kind of. I'm not doing that well for sure.
yeah, it's more about understanding. You know, it's not about executing, it's about understanding. Like, it doesn't take a lot to execute, it just takes you to think about how you want to play. Because if you don't do this, then naturally you're never going to improve because you don't think about it. So it's about thinking, it's about changing the way that you think. How
Yeah.
do I need to act to gain what I want? You remember
Hmm.
we were talking about how you can think 10 waves ahead basically here.
Yeah.
Because the game is so fucking simple and the matchup is so simple.
Yeah.
If you don't act on this and you don't act on the thoughts that you have, then you never will improve on it.
Hmm.
So you have to change the way you think first. Because if you don't do that, then it doesn't matter if you are mechanically gifted or you are good
Yeah.
mechanical. Because you don't think, you don't have brain. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about you in general. I'm just talking about the
Yeah.
players in
Yeah.
general.
I mean, even if it's I don't mind. Kind of still.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm not. My goal is not to flame you. The goal is
All
to
right.
improve you. Yeah, and I mean, even wave is also not horrible. It's not bad as long as we play for the push. You know, as long as we play for the reset.
Yeah. Do you think right now I should even look to get the push? Because right now it's kind of impossible, I think,
No,
to.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
Mm.
because if you like get her to push on 6, we still can execute the same plan.
Yeah.
We can still do it, but the problem is that you didn't think about this, you know, in the game. You were
Yeah.
just playing. You were just thinking like, okay, one minion, out to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
No,
Legit.
no thoughts. It's just like we play on
Yeah.
what we see. Yeah, so it's still fine. It's just you don't also have to have like the push on 8. We just have to reset on 8 so that we
Hmm.
can create push. This is wave 5, right? You have
Sure.
21 CS, so I guess it's
I
wave
mean,
4.
I think it's 4. Yeah, it's 4.
Yeah,
Because it's
it's
after
4.
Canon.
Yeah, it's 4. It's cannon wave, so it's 4. Um, and yeah, we want to reset on 8, so that's basically what we should be playing for at this time. If we can just hold the wave here for the next 2 waves, that's great.
Yep.
Or we want to reset on 8. I mean, I think I said 5. But yeah, this obviously isn't good then, you know? Like
Yep.
queuing here, we don't have to queue. We don't mind holding the wave here. We're always safe.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. I could slow push and get teaser pro next. And now she can even freeze me, which is bad.
Yeah,
She did that. I mean, I was going for the roam and she froze me. Because I think that's really good what he did. Because
yeah,
he
it's
stops
good.
my roam.
It's good. I mean, it can stop your roam, but you can also say fuck it. You know, I'll give the wave and then go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you shouldn't.
I really don't like that, yeah.
Yeah, because you are. If it doesn't pay off, it's GG.
It's really bad, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
played against Kaimin, I think, and I did that, and then I was 2 levels under, so I don't wanna
hmm
do that again.
yeah, I also like soft coached him as well, so that's why. You know, he's ahead of Kev.
Who did you coach?
The guy you said come in.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Soft coached him. I didn't like hard coach him. It was just quickly like
Mm.
a little bit.
He's really good,
Yeah,
I think.
he's fine. Yeah. Uh, Either way, like you have to understand that if you do this, you're not linking up this next wave, right? With the next wave. You want the wave
I
to push for you. You don't want to do this. You want the wave to
Yeah.
push for you. if you queue here, you have to walk up and overextend, and we don't want to overextend before 6 at all, no matter what.
Mm.
Well, like rather than slow pushing the wave and letting the wave do the job for you. The wave is your
Yeah.
friend, use it.
Yep. Yeah. I've I was thinking at some point, like the problem with me is I think about some stuff, but I think about them really lightly, kind of, if you understand what I mean. I think of them for like a minute and then like I stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like how to utilize the slow push on mid more, but instead of like trying to find ways how to do it, I'm just like either perma push or freeze, perma push or freeze, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Push roam. That's like the play style I have right now,
Yeah.
which is
And
not really good.
you see, again, like instead of being down here, we're up here.
Yeah,
And we're putting ourselves in unnecessary danger.
yeah, yeah. And I'm covering. I have a big problem with covering right sides sometimes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I focus too much on dodging enemy spells, and I cover wrong side, and then I die to jungle.
Yeah. Yeah, now, I mean, our plan is like pretty much down the drain, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel
I
like
hope you
best
die
thing
for this.
here.
What?
Uh, the best thing here to do was to just reco.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this wrong mentality in solo queue that if I'm not everywhere, we're gonna lose the game, and that actually causes me to lose more games than
Yes.
win.
You have to think about yourself as well, right? Like,
Yeah,
are you gonna be able to impact more now, or are you gonna able to impact more when you get the reset off?
yeah,
And what wave is this? This is wave 6. So this
yeah.
is 2 waves prior to when we should be doing it. So you could get like 2 amps, and I also don't
I,
think you should take cookies here. Honestly, I think you should go futures markets here. I
all
never
right.
see anyone do it. They mainly take cookies and what's it called, like a minion demat.
Yeah,
But this is one of the games where matchup is like death, right? Nothing happens. Nothing can realistically happen. So you should always look to to scale quicker and to have more impact faster.
yeah.
And with futures, if you had this mindset of like basing on 8, right, you would get less
Yeah, I could
shatter.
get. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you would also get a pink ward at that time. And the pink ward is actually pretty important here
Mm,
because we don't care about lane. We will never care about lane until you're so fed that you can just pop her whenever you want.
yeah.
Or your team is so fed that you can pop her whenever you want. Because yeah, you are gonna lose 2 waves for this.
Yeah. Recently, like before this, like let's say 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
me and my coach from the team, like we've worked on me watching the map more and being more proactive. And when I start learning something, I focus a bit too much on it. And right now, as you see, like every time I get prio, I click somewhere, I try to roll. And
Mm-hmm.
this is like my kind of main goal, which is not like good.
No, I mean,
Uh,
you have to be careful about what you are taught, right? Because head coaches, they have to they have a different job than what I do, for example.
mm,
So you have to be careful about what you are doing and what you're getting taught, because if you just blindly listen, it's going to hurt you more than it will help you.
yeah,
And yeah, that's just not good. Like I can also tell you, just play lane better, but what will that help you? If I don't show
yeah,
you how to play it better, how can you improve?
yeah, true.
Same way that
I should
he can
pay
say
more
like play the
attention.
map better, use
Yeah,
F keys, stuff like that. That doesn't matter if you don't show how.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the thing is, like, sometimes I think the game is too like so simple that, certain things will work every time, and instead of like thinking what's the best for a situation, sometimes I just like do what I already know and like hope to that it works.
Yeah, and the game is this is simple. You know what I just taught you here. It is simple.
Yeah, with the waves. If you
Yeah,
focus on it, it's easy to execute
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
easy if as long as you understand. And you
It's
like
just that you have to have the focus on it, you know.
all the things I said to you in terms of how we can gain this push on 8 and why you need a pink ward this game for moving.
Yeah.
It's so easy as long as you just think about it beforehand, but you don't. Of course, it's not as easy as uh, you know I might make it sound, but and I'm also spending a lot of time on it because I need to explain to you how you need to think. So it takes a way longer time than it needs to take.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very skewed.
It's just about having the focus on what you want to do, like having a
Hmm.
plan in the game.
Okay, so quickly, just to put you on the spot here, do you think Anivia should have a pink ward when she plays
You
this
can
team?
in like jungle camps because you can invade, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine if she puts one on jungle camps and keep it there for the rest of the game.
Which one? Where do you think she should place it then?
Top side.
Here?
Because we're I mean like next to, yeah, in the bush, yeah.
Okay.
You think it's good?
I don't think so. I think it changes nothing
Mm.
because we can take it whenever we want on both sides. So if I'm Anivia, I'm not buying a pink ward. I want all the gold I can get to be as relevant as I can be, as fast as I can be, because she's in a really tight spot. Because you
I
can
see.
always make plays on the map, and she can't do anything about it. And a pink ward will not change that. Because if you move to bot side, she knows that you're bot side, and her team should know that as well.
Yeah.
What does it matter if you see her, see you exactly on the spot when you know that she's bot side or you are bot side? So I wouldn't buy a pink ward if I'm an Eevee here because of that. But you are the one that has to be aggressive. You are the one that wants to make the plays. So all the
Yeah.
vision you can deny is good, but you can also deny her pink ward.
Yeah.
Doesn't change anything.
And we should also get Oracle here, right? Especially in this situation, I think right now jungle is very fat, so we can start playing way more early.
Like you should get Oracle now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I mean of course this is what I said, right? You're level 5. You want
yeah,
sweeper now because
yeah,
you're starting to move on next level. You just outpush and you move on next level.
yeah,
So this is one of the games, as I said, like if you had futures and you did play waves differently, you would have you would have chapter, you would have a pink ward, and then you just like game is in the perfect spot. It's literally in the perfect spot. Can do whatever you want on every single wave. Yeah. And this was nice by him. You saw what he did with the wall to make it slow push to you or him faster. It's
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. So he walled my wave.
Yeah, and he should obviously do that. Yeah, and you should just try to slow push. Like this is good. You just slow push now. I think it's generally good. I think if you could slow push a little bit slower, like if you
Yeah,
stood here instead and didn't try to hurt the entire wave, that would be better. If we can link up this wave with next wave,
yeah.
that's better. I'm not entirely sure if you get 6 on the next one. I don't think you do.
I don't think so as well.
And that's obviously why I also want you to push on 9. Slow push 9, crash 10.
Mm.
Because we have perfect spot. But yeah, this is wave 9.
I mean, usually right now I should get it if I didn't miss XP, but
Or
I
6, I
missed.
mean. Not wave 9, wave 6, I mean. Yeah, if you don't miss XP, yeah. But yeah, this is wave 6, so we don't gain to level 6. But yeah, he didn't miss any XP at all. So he has it.
Yep. And right now I have to play, like, give him pro next wave.
Yeah. And like here comes the spot, right, where now lane is dead. Nothing can happen. All you need to do is push wave. All she needs to do is push wave, and then we can always be like we can always do more
Yeah,
than her because
my champ is way better on roll.
yeah, your champ is way better when it comes to playing the map than hers is. All she wants to do is push wave. That's all she wants to do. She can't do anything else. And you just want to shove. So you should always aim to just queue through the entire wave if you can. Obviously with the Q, doesn't really matter. We just have to kill the wave as quick as we possibly can.
Yeah. Do you think maybe I should have waited a bit and killed the entire wave than doing it right now? Because I killed because
Um,
of the ultimate here. I killed the
I don't
button.
think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I think it's okay
Alright.
because you will have to like you will get the like you'll get Q back again. You know, you'll get Q
Mm.
back again before because you you have to wait a long time with the ult. So if you insta Q, you shouldn't even step like this. When she steps like this, you just step to the other side and insta Q the backline, and then do it
Yep.
again.
Alright.
Um, yeah, I think both are okay, but I think this one is fine because yeah, if you had last chapter, mm, obviously it wouldn't matter with the mana pool, but it doesn't matter anyways. You just need to think about where you want to move, right?
Yep.
Because that is the main thing. How do you want to play the map? How do you want to move? That is the main thing for you this game.
Yep.
So while you're taking the wave or before the wave comes, look bot, look mid, or not mid, but look bot, look top, look jungle. Where are we
Yep.
making plays? Because you
Here
don't
I
need,
was even
yeah,
yeah.
you don't,
Here I was even telling myself that might be making a mistake to even consider bot lane. Because right now like jungler stops. I was like, why am I even watching like
yeah,
bot?
yeah. And you should just ping them off, right? They shouldn't look to do anything. And but,
Mm.
uh, you should just look up, just look with him. Wherever he goes, you go. It's so free.
Yep.
That game is so free. You actually can't lose if you do this.
Here I trade my wave for the kill. I think I shouldn't have done that. They should be able to like if they don't misplay it, she should be dead by
Yeah,
now.
she's dead. She's always dead here.
And you're gonna be surprised actually.
She kills the Lee.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
bit disgusting, but that has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Do
she
you
should
think
always die here,
do
but
you think I should have just stayed mid here?
no, I think it's fine to move. Just make sure because if Viego is here as well, we don't actually know where he is. Guaranteed, he could be top side. He
Yeah.
could be Raptors transitioning into bot side.
Yeah.
Um,
My original idea was to just cover, but I saw that they're not killing them her, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the kill.
yeah, and no matter what, it's fine to commit here. We should.
Mm.
It sucks that you don't have to push, right? Like you're not able to push faster,
Yeah, yeah.
but that will come eventually. It just sucks that you're unable to do that
As soon as I
because Champ
start
6.
one-shotting backline, it's way easier to play
Yeah.
the like
Uh,
not lose minions
it's
on
just
roam.
2 Qs, boom, insta gone, you know?
Yeah,
So yeah, that sucks because it means that you are losing like 5 seconds here on move timer, right? You would already be, if you push basically same time as her, you can't, but if you do, like you would already be here moving towards
yeah.
top and we just dive her. But yeah, you can't. So I don't mind moving here. I think you're doing the right thing because Viego can be here and then we create numbers, which we talked about in the start of the game, right? We always want to create numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
And your job, like you are not going to win the game by having perfect CS this game. That's just
Yeah.
not gonna happen. You win the game by impacting the map here. So if it means you have, instead of 10 CS per minute, you have 8 CS per minute, that will always be a win in my book. And yeah, I think you should just E. Make sure you gain all the minions here. Why wouldn't you? You have to base on next wave.
Yeah, yeah. I thought my W damage, because I feel like there's some type of execute damage on W sometimes. I don't know, it's kind of weird because sometimes you do more damage with one W than
I
like
mean, it's because
one else.
more of them are hitting, you know, like here.
Yeah,
You see here?
yeah,
When you W, 2 go on 1, or like 1 minion and 1 go on 1. So
yeah.
you do more damage. It's
I
pretty
thought I'm
normal,
gonna
right?
kill them all. I thought one tick will kill one minion, the
Yeah,
other tick
yeah,
will
yeah.
kill like I killed three at the same time,
I
and like
mean, that's
so stupid.
understandable. That is understandable. I guess I can see that, right? But obviously, you should just react to the fact that it doesn't.
Yeah,
But that's fine. You should just do that in the future, now
yeah,
that you know. And yeah, if you stay for this wave, you can't roam on the next one, which is bad, right? We need to impact the map. Because if you move now, like you're going to be relatively weak for that move. So that's why you
yeah.
should base on this wave instead of shoving this wave.
My idea was to, cause like next wave is gonna be cannon. I crash this, she loses some minions, and on next wave I will not lose as much because it's
Yeah,
cannon wave. So
it's
yeah, I
more
didn't
about
play for tempo instead.
yeah, I get that. I get that thought process, but it's more about understanding that you want to play with volley, right? You see how he
Yeah.
bases here? He bases here after the kill. We can
Uh, Yeah.
Yeah, like here. You see him here?
Yeah,
Base is
yeah,
low.
after the top kill. Yeah.
So if you take the next wave,
And base, I'm
you're
gonna
playing with him.
be. Yeah,
And this is what we want, right? We want to play with Wally where he is, we go. So
yeah,
if you don't base with him, then you're unavailable to him. And now Anivia is actually able to like de-accelerate like your lead and how
yeah,
you want to play the game. Because she will have push on the next wave, she will have push on the cannon wave, and you're not able to do anything. You have to like collect the next cannon wave. So
yeah,
even if she's missing 2 minions, that move that she will get can be a lot more than what you gain.
yeah,
Because she's losing 2 minions here, maybe 3 minions. But she's able to move and she's able to de-accelerate the map. She might not, but you're giving her the option to.
yeah, yeah. It's actually so crazy, like how the entire idea of playing the game changes with your plan. Like whatever you want to do in the game, it's always different, what you have to do for it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, what can I say? This is how
Yeah.
I think about the game.
I mean, I think that's like the best thing to do. It's like for sure, because like this way, if I'm not with him, even if he has lead, he cannot really snowball it that much.
Yeah, he has to play really defensively,
Yeah,
and you're not the main character this game, right?
yeah,
It's bot and it's jungle and you're just support. You're basically just support,
yeah,
and obviously not a lot of people are able to think like this, and this is why top tier play isn't, or not top tier play, but it isn't as how do you say it, like as good as it can be, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
And mm, like the heavy majority of coaches are unable to teach like this.
yeah. I've
You
noticed.
probably have experienced by now.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, here it was really unlucky. I forgot that Diego has Rift
Oh
recall,
yeah, yeah.
and he just based
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Okay, that's fair. Either way, like the game is kind of like a chain reaction. It's not over, of course, but it's more like you're playing on the back foot basically because of this one reset that you didn't take.
Yeah,
And you have to more like you have to react more.
yeah,
But I think obviously, as I said before, if you have to give something to gain something on the map, that's fine. But yeah, we shouldn't have to if we just take the reset. But yeah, I get this from you. I would have done the same. It's good just to see. But yeah, of course with the rift. Either way, pushing the wave is good. So you're losing a wave in mid, but you're gaining it in mid or in top. So you're
yeah,
not losing anything. Yeah, and going back to mid, it's good. You could potentially grab a plate, um,
yeah. I
but
thought
you're
so
gonna lose a
also,
wave.
but I felt like just swapping with Lee would be better.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to go mid, I don't think he should. I think you
I
should
feel like
just
he
spam
should
ping.
ping it now, so I know. Like if he pings it now,
Yeah,
I can stay top, but he
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
ping shit, so
for sure. Yep.
yeah. Right now he pings. I mean, right now I guess I can go back to top honestly, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you. If he stays, you should, or if he wants, like you can just look at how he plays, like how he moves, right? You don't even
yeah,
have to ask him or anything. It doesn't
yeah,
have to ping. If he moves mid, just stay, because you can get like two plates here. You have big wave, you can push next wave. She's dead.
yeah,
Viego has to run straight top to like stop you from doing this, meaning that he won't be on his bot size camps. So yeah,
yeah. Right now, I'm thinking because like one of my main problems I feel like is like knowing what to do mid game, and I see that because it doesn't stick to the good like resets and like tempo and stuff.
mm-hmm.
The whole idea of the game changes. So
Yeah, of course. And this is what I mean. Like we can watch the next 10 minutes, but there's no thought process behind it. So
yeah,
you're not really gonna improve from it. This is normally how I think. Yeah, and of course this is just greedy. Mm,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
even if
I thought that if she would sway, if I can just walk freely, but I forgot completely about that Viego might be there.
yeah,
That I
like
cannot
like
touch.
even if Viego is not here, I still wouldn't do this because he can just wall you here, you know, and then you
Yeah,
still have to walk past or walk the other way around. So it's just greedy. Plus you're losing nothing. What are you losing by walking around? Even walk around like this,
yeah, makes sense.
you're not losing anything. It's just greedy and laziness.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one that does this. I do it sometimes as well because just lazy. But I mean, shouldn't be. Why would you be lazy?
Too hard to
Like
move the
imagine,
champion in game.
yeah, imagine you are so lazy that you won't even move character in the game. Like how disgusting is that?
Yeah,
Like how disgusting have humans become? You're
legit.
so lazy that you don't even move a character that isn't you. Like that's just disgusting. Like now that I think about it a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
But I have been thinking about this before. It's just like very disturbing to think about it, like actually being a thing.
Too much energy to move mouse and click.
It's so disgusting. It needs to be fixed ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you can take the plate as well. He ults like this, and it's not like he can wall you off. I guess he could actually. Nah, it would be too risky. If he walls you, you can just like ult into him, take the
Yeah.
egg, and go out. So
The
normally,
yeah.
just quickly, like normally, I wouldn't recommend hitting the plate because we don't actually know where Viego is. But you are playing Ari, you have ult. You're also playing against like really really low HP target, right? So pressuring here is good in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, my main focus, you can guess already, is pop deck
Yeah,
instead of the plate.
yeah, and it shouldn't be. You just want to accelerate yourself.
Yeah.
You want to get to Ludens. And if you had like,
Oh, I go Everfrost actually this game.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
can start.
Air Frost is also fine here. It's good. You play versus full melee team, basically. So you have Air Frost now, no?
Yeah, yeah, I have them base.
Yeah, but we don't want to base because we want to keep her
Yeah,
here.
my idea was to like not give her free base here,
Yeah,
so just
and
Q wave
yeah,
karma.
exactly. You don't have to base. She has to base ASAP. So
Yeah,
that's fine. That's a good plan. Like in this specific spot, you don't have to move. You don't have to win the map because if you win mid, that's ultimately also going to de-accelerate her, and we can always move if we have to.
yeah, yeah,
So it's not again like you have a set plan in mind. You should always have this when playing the game, but it's not like you should tunnel vision on doing this every single time.
yeah.
Some things change in the game. They always do, even competitive play, and you have to adapt as well. Nothing is just okay. So we have a pixel perfect plan in mind from the start of the game, and this is how we play.
Here
You
I
know?
react very late on this.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was a bit tilted by the way, because Volibear could ult the tower and we just kill. But I mean,
yeah.
not tilted, but I was like surprised that he didn't do it. Because this guy is actually good, I think. Like, I don't know if you know him, Vishen is his name.
Vish, what?
Vishen, like V-Chen, pretty much. He's like a French jungler.
I don't know, but I mean, of course, I don't care about this specific play. I care about the fact that you understand that we always have pressure on mid, so no matter what happens, we can make plays in bot, we can make plays in mid, we can make plays on Drake, and we can invade.
Mhm.
We always have pressure, so
Yep.
you have to just understand like this is good, and you are a bitch again. Like you see this, and you walk away.
I did not like. I did not
Walk
see
in.
my. I did not see. My first reaction was spot the Viego shadow and then see that my team is next to him. You know.
It doesn't matter. Do you think Viego can fight level 10 Ari, level 7?
I mean, maybe not, but
I know Viego is a really disgusting champion, but he has really low HP mid, no mana,
yeah,
can't help, and you have full team. You have to
yeah,
understand that we win everything,
yeah.
and you
I saw
don't.
my team too late.
You get
Yeah,
like you understand that you don't, right? You don't have any intentions. You just see player kill player. That's how you think,
yeah, legit.
and you don't understand that we just win everything that can possibly happen around bot side. So instead of walking into him, even if you had no team, you want to base anyways. So
I had to
you
burn
just give
note
him,
for
you
get.
just like, okay, you get for free away here.
Yeah.
Just go. Just go. I don't want you anyways, you know? You don't think about the fact that you just win everything that could ever possibly happen around the map right now.
It's like my first reaction is always to
So
run away from the danger. You
yeah, exactly. Run away. You little bitch boy.
know?
No, but again, the way that you think is what has to change because if you
Yeah,
change the way you think, you naturally will also change the way you play.
The things like when I play against a better mid laner, like it's most likely me misplaying wave and giving him opportunities to fight me, but they're also like very good mechanically. And we start fighting, he outplays me mechanically, and I'm like always like, oh, if I had better mechanics here, it would be different.
Yeah, that doesn't
And
matter. That doesn't matter.
it's
Why
such a sad way to
why do you
look at it.
think? Okay, I will give you a question here. Why do you think not champions but players like me and Vega are high elo? Like I can
Because
get
of
challenger whenever I want.
good
Vega
game
is
understanding.
Vega is challenger I think whenever he wants very easily as well.
Yeah.
We are not good players. We are just very very smart. I never have considered myself like really good mechanically. I think
Mm,
I am better than the average, of course, but it all comes from how you think. How are your intentions when you play?
yeah,
And majority of coaches are not able to do this, and this is also why they're not high elo, you know. And you
yeah,
cannot teach this if you don't understand it yourself. You just
yeah.
can't. Like
Mm. Do you think that, let's say you have really get a good game like understanding, but you don't really have really good mechanics? Let's say you have like average level mechanics. Do you think
yes,
that you can still like compete at the highest level?
yes.
All right.
If you play Ari versus any other melee matchup, not melee matchup, but mage matchup, you're always able to execute, the mechanical, not the mechanical, but the brain side of it.
Yeah,
Because of course, you have to have some sort of mechanics to be pro, but you don't have to be Chovy. You don't have to be really insane mechanical player to win and to become like a really good competitive player or even like LEC player. You just don't. It's such a flawed thing. Like you
yeah, yeah.
don't. You have to have
Yeah,
brain.
yeah. And in my head, it was always like this guy is like born with golden
Yes, of
hands
course,
and
it's retarded. It's such a dumb thing
yeah.
to say. Like it's such a dumb thing. I hate when people do that. Like,
Yeah,
of course, the better you are mechanical, the like mechanically, the better. But if you have the right thought process in mind and you are good at understanding the game, like mechanics are just a bonus. But mechanics also comes from playing the game more.
yeah,
Like it's not something. There's no one who is born with good mechanics. There's no one who touched the game from the womb.
yeah,
No one has played the game from the womb. They learn this. I learned
yeah.
this. You learned this. Everyone learned this when they played the game. No one has God-given talents. It's retarded. I'm mad, so I'm saying a lot of stuff I shouldn't say. But you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah. I
mean.
mean, you're like free to say whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I'm a bit mad when people talk about this stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
just it's a weird thing.
I know it's a script way. I've like talked with a lot of people about that, not mindset, but that thought I have about it,
Hmm.
and I've tried to change it. And like, let's say I stick to a couple of champions for a certain period of time. I play well, my mechanics are on point. I win games and stuff like this. And then I am like, okay, I'm so good at the game. I start playing everything now. And as soon as I start playing champs that I'm not that good mechanically with, I start losing every game, and I'm like, oh no, it's like all about mechanics.
And it's
Which
not.
is, yeah,
Okay, so
here
this back to the game because now we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. Back to the game.
yep,
Mm, 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 mm. So every single time you die, right, you should think, what is my next move in the game? You have so
mhm,
much time. You have so much time now to think about what you want to do. So what do we want to do now? You don't even have to. You don't have to execute the plan in the game, same way that you haven't executed anything I've said, right? You just have to be able to understand it. You have to able to be to be thinking about it. So what do we do now?
I feel like the best thing we can do at this point is like right now, me and Volibear get out of base. He'll get out of base first. He goes clears top side, and then we can all go towards bot because we have Drake and we have tower on lowest plates as well,
And we
so we
don't.
can play.
He doesn't have to go topside. Like he can just go through bot and then
Mm.
clear his bot side camps. We make sure we take control of Drake, and then we make sure we take control of mid.
Yep.
So we should obviously be playing safe. We don't wanna go
Like,
overly aggressive.
yeah,
And we wait for Volley to be able to respond. And if he's not able to respond, you give mid lane and you just walk bot. But he should be mid lane right now with Yumi. But yeah, you again are lazy. I would say honestly, I would just say you're lazy. So you don't
Yeah,
think about it, and then you walk into her range.
I
You don't
did the
have
same
ult.
thing again. Yeah,
Yeah, you don't have ult, and then you die. And then of course game changes a lot because now they have the move on every single like situation they want, you know.
yeah,
But as you can see, the problem with this, they are going bot, so now they can respond to a 3v3 play instead of gaining mid control and then forcing a 4v3 play.
yep.
But yeah, now you die, and yeah, now they can do whatever they want. You just happen to win anyways, but this has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, yeah. I know that ult against 7 right now or not because I played it well.
Yeah. Of course, you should just kill him. Don't be afraid, but like the rest of the game, I kind of don't care about.
Yep.
We can obviously still just quickly go through it, but I care about how you think. And
I feel like there were certain times in this game that my team would be fighting and I would prefer to be side. I was curious what your opinion is on that.
okay, can you say that again?
Like there are certain periods of this game where I
Like
would
later?
prefer to go side. I mean somewhere in like mid late game. I'm not sure which minute it was, but later on in the game, I'm like going more on side than grouping with the team and fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering like what your take would be on that.
Okay, yeah, we can take a look.
Because I had one game, I mean, it's not only one game, but a lot of times where we fight all the time. I find myself like being low on farm, low on XP and stuff like this, and I really don't want to play the game that way.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking of a way to like separate myself from the team and just play for myself,
yeah.
kind of.
Depends on what kind of champion you are, right?
Yeah,
Because Ari doesn't solo carry games. She never will. She never can. Even if you're like 10-0, very often you can't solo carry games. You can just set up picks and do, yeah, of course, more damage than you naturally should. But if you're a champ like Cashew, you don't have the time to walk around in mid lane and do nothing.
yeah,
But when you play Ari, you have the time to, look for picks because that's what your champion does the best.
yeah, for sure. It's
So it
just,
depends on what kind of champion you are. Yeah, go on.
yeah. It's just that sometimes I feel like I overdo it and like I just lose too much resources on the map.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no reason to fight, why fight?
Yeah,
If there's no reason to be mid to gain pressure for Drake, for example, or Herald, or to just gain full information around mid sides, or not mid side, but top side, so we can play Herald or anything. Why do it? It's no point.
yep,
It's better to play waves, better to play the map. But just like more generally speaking, obviously it's better to look for picks and look for like situations on a champ like Ari than it is to do on a champ like Cashew.
yep,
Because they have different strengths, and Cash, like Ari does not really care about losing a wave if it means we get something on the map. Whereas Cashew, she can't really do this on her own, so she
yep,
would rather play for what she knows, like a certainty, which would
yep.
be the wave.
Kind of same thing with like scaling, like the control mages, right?
Look, you have no damage. You are 4-2. You do no damage. This is full combo with Everfrost. You do half her HP. Like, how disgusting is that?
Yeah,
But that's because your champion just doesn't do it well. That's not what she does. She does not really do damage. Of course, if you go like Ludens and full one-shot build, you can do damage, but that's mainly not why the champion is picked, because there are other champs that just do that better.
yep,
But I think this is fine. Like what you're doing here, we have absolutely zero reason to be bot. So why would we do it
yeah. And
when
right
we
now,
can
like
just
for
blame
example,
it
I
or
start
top of
pinging
it?
to go back. I ping that she's basing, and like
Yeah,
they overstay and die.
yeah, that's fine. You can change that. That should never be on you.
Mm.
In this spot, like we have zero reason to be bot side. We just play
Yep,
Drakes and then with game's over. Or I guess they got the Drake actually. We just play Baron setup and then we can just fight there.
yep,
And we take every Drake that spawns, of course. Like game is really simple. You just want good reset timers for it, and then it's good. Of course, that one def you had in mid that
yeah,
cost a lot, like a
yeah,
lot.
yeah, for sure. They even got Baron, I think.
Yeah, but it cost a lot. Uh, yeah, you just okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't have to talk like about the specific situations for you to understand. I hope
Yeah, yeah,
because
I understand.
it doesn't require like a specific situation. It just requires you to understand how you need to think.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Do you have any like final questions before I end the recording?
Well,
Can be
it's
anything.
like, yeah, it's one thing that I was wondering, for example, like in competitive, you usually play mid-wave into some kind of objective or like I don't know, a dive or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in solo queue, it's kind of different because you a lot of times just fight for random kills and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there is a there has to be like a change of how you play in solo queue and competitive?
No,
Like,
you should always play like if you care about competitive play, you should always play solo queue like it's a competitive game.
mm,
Always.
all
I
right,
do this mainly when I try hard, and every single time I play to challenger, I always play the solo queue game like it's a competitive game. So
mm,
I play as perfect as I can. Obviously you can't play perfect, um,
yep,
but you have to understand that if you play like solo queue, you will also get bad habits from solo queue. I
yeah,
will
for sure,
always, and I will always recommend competitive players to play every single solo queue game like it's a competitive game. So feed information that is valuable, understand where to be on the map, understand map rotations, take the right reset timers, and play the game like you should. Instead of
yeah,
trying to create habits that shouldn't be there, because they can also hurt you in competitive play.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if you're a
for sure,
competitive player, you should always, always, always play the game like it's uh, competitive.
competitive, yeah,
And
all
then
right,
if some things happens, let's say your jungler decides to flip season 12 scuttle, and you have perfect reset, I don't care. I will reset. Good luck.
yeah. All right. Because the like a
Because
lot
yeah,
of times I just follow my team and it causes me to go like behind a lot on resources and stuff. And
yeah, that should not be the thing. Of
yeah,
course, some games you can do that. If you play Ori, right, looking for picks is better than getting 10 hits per minute.
yeah,
But that shouldn't be your main focus. Your main focus should always be um,
like the
to
plan
play
you
the
have set up.
competitive,
Yeah,
to play the game like it's competitive,
yeah,
right?
I see. Well, I'm gonna start practicing. Hopefully, I
Yeah,
get rid of my bad habits now.
yeah. That is why I'm here.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you a lot for this. And yeah, good luck and have a nice day.
Yeah, you too. You too. If you have questions for the session, you can let me know, of course.
All right, all right. I'm like a sub on your Patreon, so you don't even have to send me the link. I'm gonna see the
All right.
bot when you upload it.
All
All
right.
right.
Perfect.
Thank
See
you a
ya.
lot. See ya.
Yeah, no problem.